the global semiconductor showdown. Chips and chill. Welcome to Trend Talks with Jenny and Joey. I'm Jenny, and this is my co-host, Joey. We're here to dive into the latest trends and hot topics from around the world.
Absolutely, Jenny. Today, we're going to talk about something that's quietly shaping our future but rarely makes headlines: the global semiconductor showdown. Chips and chill.
That's right. We'll take a closer look at the semiconductor industry and break down what's happening. It's a fascinating story of innovation, rivalry, and geopolitical tension.
It's an important conversation, so let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. Semiconductors, or microchips, are the brains behind most modern technology. They've been improving exponentially since the 1960s.
And it all started in the US. The first semiconductor chip was invented here in the 1950s. The US government was the main customer initially, using them in NASA's spacecraft and missile systems.
Exactly. But as the technology advanced, US companies moved manufacturing to countries like Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea because of cheaper labor. The US government encouraged this, but with a catch: these companies couldn't share technology with rivals like the Soviet Union and China.
Fast forward to the 2000s, and China was dominating the assembly part of the supply chain. But they were still reliant on other countries for the most advanced chips.
China's leaders realized this was a risk they couldn't afford. So they started investing heavily in their own chip design and manufacturing companies, hoping to create a self-sufficient supply chain.
But China was still years away from making the most advanced chips. These are produced by only a few companies, mainly in Taiwan and South Korea. And that's where things got complicated.
The US saw this as a security threat and started taking action. In 2018, the Trump administration banned US companies from selling components to ZTE, a Chinese tech company.
Then in 2019, they banned business with Huawei. These moves nearly bankrupted ZTE and dealt a significant blow to Huawei.
In 2022, President Biden took it a step further. He banned US companies from selling advanced chips to China and blocked Chinese design firms from using US software and equipment.
This was a clear shift in strategy. The US was now exploiting these choke points to stop China's chip industry in its tracks.
And it's not just about trade. Taiwan, which manufactures 63% of all chips, is at the center of this conflict. The US has vowed to protect Taiwan, even though China views it as a breakaway province.
Taiwan's companies are now caught in the middle. They have to choose between defying the US and selling to China or complying with US export controls and cutting off China from some of its chips.
It's a delicate situation. And as the US and China continue to feud over chips, more countries and companies around the world will be forced to pick sides.
This isn't just about market share or tariffs. This is about national security and global influence.
It's a new kind of Cold War, but instead of tanks and missiles, it's all about microchips and manufacturing supremacy.
And that's why we're talking about the global semiconductor showdown, chips and chill today. It's a complex, high-stakes game that's reshaping the world.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Trend Talks with Jenny and Joey. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the trends shaping our world.